Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are experiencing some turbulence. I'd appreciate it if you'd remain in your seats and keep your seat belts fastened until I turn off the fasten seatbelt sound. Thank you very much.
So have you ever given a thought as to what Uber, Facebook, Alibaba and Airbnb have in common? It's very well put by startup analyst Mr. Tom Goodwin, and I quote, Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. Facebook, the most popular media owner, creates no content. Alibaba, the largest retailer, has no inventory. And Airbnb, the largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. So something interesting is happening here, I unquote. Going further, WhatsApp has become such a mainframe application that we no longer realize that it is an application. And if we think about what it does, it is so ironic that what we download replaces the primary use of the phone itself, and that also for free. And these disruptive companies have caught the traditional ones off guard. If we look at the valuations, Nestle and McDonald's are 100-year-old companies, and their valuation, even if combined, is lesser than a 12-year-old Facebook. And while I agree that these numbers do not show the whole picture, but they do convey disruption, these numbers do convey that the rules of the game have changed. And as Mr. Roger J. Hamilton, who is a futurist and social entrepreneur, identifies, we are now in the fifth era of exponential growth. The first was industrial revolution, then came race for oil, then there was corporate capitalism, rise of financial markets, and now is the era of startups and disruption. And by disruption, I mean exponential growth and businesses that are redefining the boundaries of the industry. To start off the conversation, I'll give you an example of a very disruptive company in the automobile industry. So I've put various companies on a graph with the vertical axis representing acceleration and the horizontal axis showing efficiency. So if you look at the supercars like Bugatti, Ferrari, they've got very good acceleration, but their mileage is low. And if you look at the brands like Hyundai, Honda, and the cars they make, the cars have very good efficiency, but their acceleration is low. And this is what conventional knowledge also says, the conventional engine technology, that there's a trade-off between having, like you can either have a fast car or a car with good efficiency. But Tesla, which is an American automotive company making electric cars, is proving it wrong. And this is where they stand on the graph, completely shifting the paradigm and redefining the rules of the industry. So these are examples of several big companies like Facebook, Uber, Tesla. Now moving on to how disruption can be applied at the grassroots level. And to explain you this, I'll be giving 3 examples. Children outgrowing shoes. This is a very big problem in developing countries. And as children outgrow the shoes, they have to go back to walking bare feet. But there's a very innovative solution to it in the form of a shoe that grows. So using these 3 points, the shoe can actually grow up to 5 sizes in 5 years. Like this shoe is size 5 and size 10 as well. So a child doesn't have to go bare feet for a much longer period of time. This is the first disruption. Metal landmine detectors. These are very expensive equipments, and the process of detecting landmines is slow and also causes harm to human life. Thousands of people are amputated each year due to detecting landmines. But to solve this, ventures in Cambodia and Belgium are using rats to detect landmines. Yes, you heard it right. I know it's disturbing, but disruptive as well. So the rats detect the landmines much more efficiently and accurately. And they're now being trained from birth and have become human companions. Moving on to the third disruption, which is my favorite one, as it personally applies to me as a pet owner and might apply to you as well. Washing dogs. It is a very big problem for the pet owner. It makes the dog also uneasy. But to solve this using innovation, I recently found it out on the internet that there's a dog washing ring. So such a simple innovation, just a tire tube with a few holes, but it has made the entire process so much more elegant. And like this, you can disrupt in anything. You can disrupt in a product, business model, service, or anything for that matter. But if you ask me in which industry to disrupt, I would say it is all the businesses in the platform industry, where the buyers and the sellers interact and they complete the transaction, while as the company just acts as a platform. But once you have a platform, you can extend it to almost anything. Taking the example of Uber again, which started as a taxi company, but now operates in 300 cities and 58 countries. Uber is now prototyping with delivering food, clothing, goods, and even kittens. Yes, that is right. So if you want to cuddle with a cat, you can call for an Uber and they'll deliver it to you for 15-20 minutes. Uber has also started with Uber First Aid because in New York, an average ambulance takes about 7 minutes to reach the scene of emergency, while as an Uber can reach the patient in just 3 minutes. And this difference is proving critical to saving a patient's life. There's a car company that doesn't even own a single car, and that started by making people's life more convenient, is actually now saving them. So this is the application of disruption at the global level. So we have seen disruption at global level, at grassroots level. Now I'll be speaking about how disruption can be applied to solve big macro problems, and also how I'm changing the world a step at a time. So globally, more than 350 million pairs of shoes are discarded each year, and an average pair, upon incineration, generates 30 lbs of emissions, which is equivalent to leaving a 100-watt bulb burning for a week. And while shoes are being discarded on one hand, causing environmental harm, on the other hand, 1.5 billion people, as per the UNESCO and WHO report, currently do not have footwear. And millions are infected or dying each year due to diseases contracted through unprotected feet. So these are two very big problems, and some individuals might think that we cannot have a say in such overwhelming problems. This is what me and my co-founder Ramesh also thought, till we founded Greensole. So both of us, being athletes, used to discard 3 to 4 pairs of sports shoes each year. We felt very bad when we had to throw away such shoes, which still had life in them. So we experimented and brainstormed for months, and after several attempts, we finally figured that the shoes can be made into comfortable footwear. That was a eureka moment that came after 2 to 3 months of regular experimenting. And we used the initial slippers using tire tubes, house paint, simple knife, and we started using these slippers for personal use. But later we realized the kind of impact that this innovation will have and the carbon footprint it will save. And then there was no looking back. And today, within 1 year, we've already provided footwear to more than 10,000 people in need, saved 45,000 pounds of carbon emissions, and have also given employment in the process. And to do this, we have got collection centers in various cities across India, from where we get shoes, and also corporate partners. After the shoes reach our factory, they're dismantled and upcycled into comfortable footwear, and further donated throughout the country. We've also got corporate sponsoring these drives, and we sell a part of footwear manufactured in the market to self-sustain the impact model. And by now, you must be wondering, why am I wearing sandals? It's an important event. Well, these are no ordinary sandals. These were shoes at one point in time. And now, we have given it a second life as footwear. And they are as cool and comfortable as well. So we have made this using the sole of the shoe and all recycled materials. So giving a discarded shoe which would have ended up in landfill causing carbon emissions, we have given it a second life as footwear. And now we are further expanding globally to connect to people, get shoes from global networks, and then manufacture and further donate them. This is another version of it, which recently got featured in the Vogue magazine. We've also received appreciation from President Barack Obama and Ratan Tata for the cause and the thought behind the venture. And the point I'm trying to make today is that everyone can disrupt. We have seen global companies disruption at grassroots level. We have disrupted. I started with my disruption when I was 19 years old, and I'm 21 now, not much older than you. So stick to your idea and put it into execution. Only then you'll be able to see the impact. And to get you closer to disruption, I leave you with these 4 points, which are very simple, but that is what disruption at the end of the day is. It's simplifying the ideas and putting it to execution. Identify the need or the pain points. Identify exactly where the problem is, and then try to bridge the gap. Once you have found the problem, make the unthinkable thinkable, like Tesla does with its cars, like Apple amazes its customers. The third, and the most important one, is to simplify the problem and the solution as well. Because most often you'll find that the innovations are so simple that they would have probably crossed your mind. And the fourth is to give power to the customers, especially if you're disrupting in a business model or a technology. Give the power to them and then learn from them how it can be done better. These are very simple points, but applying them is very difficult. So try it step by step, like one step at a time. So try, disrupt, fail, and rise again, because it's only through a positive, turbulent mind that the world can become a better place. And it's an insight that most often these disruptions will come from people who are from outside the industry, the non-experts, who will be able to look at the problem from a much different perspective and come up with innovative solutions. In closing, I leave you with the thoughts of one of the most famous disruptors of all time, Mr. Steve Jobs. The world will be a different place when we realize that the things around us are made by people no smarter than us. Thank you.